So welcome to the second webinar on for new advisors, boot camp for new advisors. We've worked with some of you already in the last couple months, so it's great that you are on board and that you're here. Some of you have got invitations up on MHS, or you've got invitations out. We're going to cover some of those steps that you might have already done. This webinar is really broad and sort of covering just a whole host of things that you can always sort of go back to when you need it. So we won't get too in-depth, I guess, with some topics, but just to point you towards some of the resources when the time comes that it'll be of interest to you or that you need the information. We like these to be interactive, as interactive as possible, and not just a presentation, to make it a little bit hopefully useful to you and really allow you to meet each other. So if y'all don't mind introducing yourselves, my name's Eileen Merberg. Some of you have been on other webinars, so we've met. Executive Director, I'll go over to Trish while I clear my throat.
Hi, I'm Trish Maxwell. I'm Director of Communications here in the office, so I work with the conference, the website, social media, and coordinate the scholarship process.
Lindsay, you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Lindsay Webb, and I'm a graduate student at East Tennessee State University. And I work in our new student family programs office with Jake Allen, who is technically the chapter advisor, but I help him with things anytime I can. So I've been helping him with all this.
Great. Okay. Wendy, since you're here. Oh, I think you are muted. You might be muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, now we can. Yes.
Okay. Hi, I am Wendy Bruin. I serve as the Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs at Northern Arizona University, and I'm a new advisor for ALD.
Great. How about, so Sarah, I'm not sure if you, I see a microphone muted. Yeah, I think you can chime in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Forbes. I'm the Director of Student Academic Success at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, and I'm also a new advisor.
Great, welcome. And Victoria. Not sure if you have a microphone. You can always use the chat feature if you can't call in or use a microphone, then feel free to use a chat. So Victoria, we'll just assume maybe, because I do see a...
Can anyone hear me?
Oh, now we can.
Oh,
yes.
Great. Sorry, I don't have a video, but I'm Victoria Smith from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and we are reviving our chapter out of dormancy. So I am the new advisor as we kind of get started again after several years hiatus.
Right, great. And it's going great. Your numbers are really good.
Yeah, they are looking good so far, so we're going to have to get started pretty soon.
Yes, right. So they have a new invitation out, like almost 100 students, I think. Okay, and we have Laurel signed up, but I don't see her here. Jenny, not here yet. Okay, so they might join us in a minute. So I have actually Trish created this PowerPoint for the conference that I've absconded with and tweaked it a little for new advisors for these purposes. So I will pull it up on my screen share. I'm going to not show it in PowerPoint mode so that I can toggle to our website. And again, this is being recorded. And so if you wanted to go through it again, if I said something 11 minutes in, make a note of it or something, and you want to go back to that part of the video or check out our website or my reference to a website and what I said. So hopefully I'm not going too fast or too slow. Okay. Oops, that's my Ask Me Anything thing. Okay. And so is there a PowerPoint showing up there? Does that look right? Okay. So again, quick overview. We have been, I'm going to just talk a little bit about our history, lots of information on our website. I will be pointing to certain things on our website, and a little bit about inductions for those who have not started invitations yet for the spring semester. then just review a typical year of the sort of the ALD cycle. It tends to have a common cycle or cycle of activities starting with the summer and the fall and the spring. So we'll talk about that and then point to some resources. This is one of the very first, or the first, I think it might be the first charter issued. It's really cool looking, signed by Mariah Leonard, who is our founder, in 1924. I thought that was a pretty cool image that we have preserved. So we were founded in 1924, so we're almost 100 years old, looking towards 2024 as a celebration of some sort. At the University of Illinois, Mariah Leonard, that name you might hear, you'll begin to hear as a new advisor. We have a senior book award named after her, and you'll just hear that name. She was the Dean of Women at University of Illinois, and so she founded the Honor Society then. The next chapter after that was at Purdue University in 1926, and then it grew from there to probably almost around 280 or so chapters right now. And we have had a lot of new chapters. So not only do we have new advisors, every year we have new advisors, and that's pretty typical, but we've had really quite a surge in new chapters recently, which has been really nice. And we had 8 new chapters last year, and we'll have, I think, around 10 this year already. So we do host a conference, which I'll talk about. The first one was in 1930. We are ACHS certified, which is an important piece of information if anyone is ever questioning the legitimacy of Alpha Lambda Delta. There's a lot of organizations out there that your students are going to get invited to join. And they're going to get emails and letters in the mail and postcards and fancy wedding invitation type invitations to join a lot of different organizations. And so they get so bombarded, and not all of them are true honor societies, that there's going to be some confusion and maybe even just a turn off of all things, including ALD, because we're lumped in. But we are a legitimate, obviously, honor society around a long time. We are a true academic honor society, given that we have a minimum GPA. A lot of these other organizations, they may say they have a GPA. It might be a 3.0 or a 2.5, which is not really honor, and they pretty much take anybody. But there is this organization called ACHS that certifies, you have to meet very particular and strict standards to be considered an honor society, and we have been a member and met those standards since 1939. We'll talk a little bit about our programs that started a long time ago, like scholarships, in a minute. As I mentioned, we have our numbers really vary, 260, 270, 280, it just depends. Not all of them are active, but solid 270 or so active, and then maybe 10 more that not active this year, but they'll be active next year, kind of thing. Kind of like Birmingham, where some come and go. We do induct about 25,000 new students every year. That's pretty much our number. It's gone as high as 30,000 6 years ago or so. It's declined a little bit, as have all honor societies have seen some decreases. Our structure is made up of the national office. We're here in Rochester, New York, Fairport, New York, which is a suburb of Rochester, and we're governed by a national board of directors. They're called the National Council. Sharon Emerson Stanell from Longwood University in Virginia is the president. And then there are other positions which all advisors are eligible to apply for. So if that's ever anything you have interest in the future, it might be too soon if you're new to really be on the board right now, but in the next couple of years, keep your eye out for it. There's always a position open every year. Every year it's either 1, and then the next year it's 2, and then 1, and then 2 positions. So if you really are into ALD and want to be on the National Board of Directors, it's a nice position, and keep your eye out for that. So we do offer a number of scholarships, which are very well articulated on our website. I'm going to take you there. That's here. So we spend, and by we I mean Trish, spend a lot of time developing our website to really be just chock full of everything you need anything and everything you need to advise the chapter. It's on our website. So the scholarship has its own tab, and it's really the season now for scholarships. So keep your eye out on that if you have students that are interested in applying. And there's lots of information on this page. And then Trish has led one of these webinars on scholarships. So if you have not attended that or did not attend that, then it was recorded. So you can check out the recording of that webinar and take a listen. And just in terms of how to get it all started, two of the scholarships need to be coordinated by you first for a local applicant or a local process, and then you submit a name to the national for consideration. While I'm here, let me just see. So this page here, so of all our tabs here, so I talked about the scholarship page. The members, this is geared towards new students joining, just what are the benefits, what's Alpha Lambda Delta all about. And this chapter tab would be the main, I think, one of the main tabs for a chapter advisor. And it does, I'm going to point very quickly to our webinars. Do we have our webinars here?
On the advisors resources page. Yeah.
The resources library?
Nope, under advisors.
Oh, yeah, that's right. See, there's so much on here, I don't know. Yeah, so if you go to chapters and then advisors, the webinars that we have recorded are available here in an archived form. So just keep scrolling till you find the archive. Every single page that is password protected has a password of 1924, which is the year we were founded. So it's easy to remember. So the scholarship webinar is right here that Trish led, and that's the recording of it. Okay. So any questions about the scholarship program while we're here? Trish, you'll monitor chat.
Yeah, I just have a quick quick thing. So I developed a less than 2 minute video about how to run your scholarship process. So if you haven't set your dates yet or don't know what's involved as a chapter advisor, let me know. We just did it last week, so I'll kick you over that YouTube video, and it's been pretty helpful so far, I think. So
yeah, that's great.
I think most of you have set scholarship deadlines, but if you haven't, let me know and I'll send that over to you.
Great, thanks for that point. Okay, so some of you have invitation, there's too many I words, induction, initiation, invitation. Invitations currently out there in MHS, or maybe you have, if you don't use MHS, I think every chapter here does. So you either have one, I don't think Jenny joined us yet, but some of you have invitations that are already just closed, and some have yet to post invitations yet. But I'm just going to be brief here. Let me just say, first of all, we're very happy to help with any invitation process, especially the use of MHS, which is our online member management system. You've got a list of eligible students, but you just don't have time to upload it or figure out MHS. All of that stuff, we'll do it for you. We can help with that. Most important, I think one of the most helpful pieces of information on our website in terms of inductions and membership and the use of MHS and all of that is in our handbook. So I wanted to point you to that resource. There is an timeline, initiation timeline, which the PowerPoint will cover a little bit of, but I didn't want to go through it line by line, but certainly gives you a good overview of when should I start to be thinking about that. This and induction, inviting students to become members. That answer is now because it's the spring semester. So you're going to look at the students who are eligible from their fall semester of 2019, and those who got a 3.5 or higher would be invited to join. So this gives you a nice overview of a timeline and all the steps that go into inviting and inducting new members. So I'm going to fly through some of these slides, but I'll show them so that you can pause on the PowerPoint, the video, if you would like. But now is the time, if you haven't already, to think about an induction ceremony. Most of them occur in March and April, February, March, and April. So there's still plenty of time if you don't have an invitation out, but think about a date that you want the ceremony to be, and then move back, work backwards from that timeline. Give at least 2 weeks for us to print certificates, so a deadline of 2 weeks before the ceremony, and then a month before that to start inviting students so they have some time to consider it. We do offer, is this postcard? Yep. If you have not already told us or participated, Trish will reach out if you've already told us you're interested in this, but in addition to our online invitation system is a postcard that we're offering. So the online system sends the student an email inviting them to join, and then they click on a link and join online. But this postcard that we're offering is a supplement to that, so that it goes into the homes of the students, and mom and dad might see it and encourage the student to join. And so if you do want to participate in that and can get home addresses, permanent home addresses, reach out to Trish. We are covering all the costs for that, the price of the card and the postage. Oh, let me go slower on that one, and then that one. So ceremonies are often the highlight of the year for the students, and there's lots of programming they can do throughout the year, but the induction ceremony is a really nice event. We script the whole thing for you, but there are certain tips and ideas and suggestions on that webpage I mentioned. But it's often the advisor's most favorite event because it's just, I've been to many now, and it's just so lovely, and everybody's so proud and so happy to receive this honor. Most chapters allow the students to invite and bring their parents and family members or friends, and so it's a nice full room of folks. You can invite someone from campus to speak, to say a few words, to congratulate students, even the president of your university, or just anybody. If you have a guest speaker every year, just mix it up and choose someone else on campus to say a few words. And again, we provide all the information you need for it, but it can be a lovely ceremony, and if you can have food after, or cupcakes, as you can see from the slide, or cake or cookies, that's a nice touch. And please make sure to take pictures too, if you can, of your ceremony, and send us, especially one group shot with everybody, maybe holding their certificate up or whatever you can do. Send us pictures, because Trish will put those out on social media, and it's good for us to put up on our website. Again, adds to our legitimacy that students are engaged and enjoying being a member, and they're beautiful pictures often as well. Okay, I don't know where they got those balloons, but those are cool balloons. I guess the store who sells lettered balloons. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about not everything's focused on the ceremony, and now that the ceremony is over and you've got 50 new members or 100 new members, or for some of our chapters 900 new members and some 20, no number's the right number, whatever it works for your chapter. Now what do you do? And so we would encourage you to keep the students engaged year-round, and hopefully you have student leaders willing to take on the role of chapter president or vice president, etc., and they can start planning some events and programs. So I'm going to back up a little. We just talked about spring induction, but let me just talk about summer, because that's really the beginning of the year, even though it's spring now, so we're talking about inductions because that's right now. But let's just focus on a year in the life starting with summer, and summer's a great time if you have orientation programs. A lot of schools have orientation throughout the summer. Some don't have summer programs, but do it all at once in the beginning of the fall. So whichever is the case, capitalize on that, because that's your first year students, right? That's where new students are coming in and when they're coming in. So any presence ALD can have at orientation, it would be great. Whatever's allowed, if there is packet, a bag, a tote bag or something, and you're allowed to contribute items to that bag. We've got some items that we provide for free that you can request from us, and we'll ship to you, and you ask your orientation office to put them in the tote bag, whatever they're getting. We have something called a media kit under that chapter tab. And so this offers a lot of information on how to promote ALD, really specific branding information, including downloads of our logo and our crest. And then these are the publications that we offer for free. We'll send you brochures, a study guide tip sheet, which is perfect for orientation, and decals. And so these are some of the things that you can include and request. So whatever you can do at orientation is great. Then now it's fall and the semester's beginning and students are moving in. Freshmen are moving into the residence halls. Another great opportunity. If ALD can be around wearing their letters and helping students move in. So that's a big thing. A lot of Greek organizations, meaning social fraternities and sororities, do a lot of that assistance. RAs are going to be helping, of course, but if ALD can help with that, ask your res hall folks if you can gather a group of students and help students move in. You could distribute the study guides and that sort of thing. Then the next thing that's going to happen on your campuses is our club fairs, student activity fairs, involvement fairs, whatever they're called. Your campus is probably going to have one. It's going to be run by the student activities office, student life office, the student leadership office, student club office, whatever it's called. They're going to have a club involvement fair, and they're going to invite student organizations all over campus to all descend on the quad and promote their club. So another great opportunity. ALD should be there. And sometimes I'll say, you know, sometimes the advisors might say, well, how do we really promote ALD when you're, especially in the fall, because we don't know who's going to be eligible. But it's fair to say that it's I think it's important to promote ALD for all freshman students, because it's not just, you're not just speaking to the ones who will eventually be invited and you don't know who they are yet because they just started. But this is an aspirational organization and you want students to look forward to being eligible. So you're going to promote academic excellence and have your current members talk about how they got the 3.5 GPA and what it took to get the 3.5, and that it's doable, and that your incoming freshmen can achieve it as well, and that if and when they do, they'll get invited. But it's important to have an ALD presence and have your name out there, so when that invitation comes in the spring, they'll connect it and remember. So September, October, November can be all sorts of programming. It's up to you and to the chapter officers and the students involved and the student leadership to stay involved on campus, stay engaged with your members, bring in speakers from around campus free of charge. You've got lots of expertise on your campuses, the director of the Career Center, the Counseling Center for mental health stress or sleep issues, the Career Development Center to review resumes or talk about interviews and cover letters, and any number, your scholarship office, bring that person in to talk about other scholarships in addition to ALD. This is a perfect audience for scholarship eligibility. So bring in speakers to your meetings, community service events. There's all sorts of programming and events that the group can be involved in. If there's any chance, you can also get in front of any first-year seminars. That's a promotional thing for ALD, but also aspirational. If you can get 2 minutes at the beginning of every single section of your first-year freshman seminars, if you have them. I know one campus does that. They're invited to every section, and they have a little spiel they go through, and they bring in the student leaders to talk about ALD. And it's well received, and then students again they recognize ALD when they get invited. similar. Trish, can I throw it over to you to talk a little bit about the Flame magazine? And just
Sure.
in terms of spotlighting something?
Yeah, so we highly recommend that you submit a chapter spotlight for the Flame magazine. So they're due December 1st each year. We send out kind of reminders in November. But you can highlight anything. You can highlight a program, you can highlight your induction ceremony, you can highlight service projects, maybe a cool academic initiative that you've worked on. That's all the way at the end, Eileen. And a picture, and we highlight that. So not only is it great publicity for your campus, but it's also a great thing to flip through and get other programming ideas from other schools. So do that if you haven't done that before, because we always love to have them. And you submit right online.
Yeah, just showing you a few pages, but it's all online. You can see what other chapters have submitted. Great. Then we're now back to our current time, which we've sort of talked about already. So again, staying in touch with students if you can over the winter break, but certainly engaging with them when school starts up again, which for many of you was this week or maybe last week. And then it really also starts our scholarship season. In addition to initiation season or invitation season, it's our scholarship season. So the first one is our graduate fellowships, and then our STEMler study abroad scholarships, and then our TRO scholarships are due April 1st. Again, we've talked a little bit about that if you want to check out that other webinar. And then the last thing I would mention regarding this is the importance of transition. So Alpha Lambda Delta is often a student organization on campus led by young students early in their college career, not as experienced as juniors and seniors. And so it's a little bit more important maybe to pay special attention to the transitions from year to year. So oftentimes the way it works is that, and it doesn't have to work this way, but students are elected to leadership positions at the end of their freshman year, and then they serve in those roles throughout their full sophomore year. And then it starts up again in April again. At the end of their sophomore year, they're giving up their leadership role and turning it over to the next group of inducted students. So there are retreats you could do, or at least a half-day meeting or a meeting to bring the two groups together, the newly identified leaders and your outgoing leaders. Use some of those outgoing leaders, keep them engaged. They can serve as junior advisors and senior advisors, what we call them. You could call them whatever you'd like, but most chapters have an outgoing officer at the end of their sophomore year stay involved and become what's called the junior advisors throughout their junior year. So that's a nice way of keeping some continuity and not starting from scratch every year. We have lots of resources on our website. One of the pages of our handbook is dedicated specifically to transitions and to just the whole officer role. What are the types of positions available? Again, it's up to you. This is not prescribed, it's just suggested. There's lots of great descriptions here for position descriptions, applications, if you want to use that. And the way it's handled by different chapters is explained in this page. We do like pictures a lot. We're pretty active on social media, particularly Instagram and Facebook, but Instagram is key for our student population. And so anytime we could put pictures out there of active, happy students is good. So please take pictures and send them to Trish. But also, just if you're posting your own pictures, which a lot of chapters do, if you could just at least tag us so that we'll see it and it ties it to the national office. So tell your students to tag anything they're posting on Instagram, etc., to tag at National ALD. And then I talked a little bit about the resources. So I mentioned the handbook. The resources library is just another page with sample chapter constitution and lots of other documents. We do have an advisor Facebook group, and so if you are not already a member of that, it is a private or closed group, I should say, for chapter advisors. And this is our opportunity for advisors to just chime in, maybe throw out a question about honor cords or induction ceremonies, whatever it is that you might want to talk about. You can post a question or a conversation item, discussion item, and then we post a lot of stuff too. And currently there's about 163 advisors are part of this group. And I think advisors have found it really useful. And then, of course, I think anytime you can follow us on social media would be great, and especially if your students could. I think the more followers or likes we get on our posts indicates to a student who gets invited and is Googling us and looking at us, it indicates an active, vibrant, real, legitimate organization. We don't have 3 followers and no likes on any of our posts. So it's not a vanity thing so much as it's just good PR, because we know that students are looking at that. So if you could encourage your student leaders and members to follow us and engage with us on social media, that would be appreciated. And I was just going to mention one other thing, and then I'll open up to questions, as this reminded me. So we've launched a couple new things recently, and one of them is called Chapter Chats. So if you haven't heard about that, it's fairly new. And we are offering brief, informal online chats with our student member at large on our national council. She's Danielle. She's at St. Vincent College in Pennsylvania, but she is the representative on our national board of directors. And she's going to be hosting these chapter chats, and we're inviting officers. So any student officer is welcome to register for these and show up to them. They're focused on various topics, like all chapter presidents are invited to one on February 3rd, and secretaries and treasurers on March 15th, icebreaker ideas on March 25th, etc. So this page here, ALD/chapter chats, which you can't really see in that URL there, but if you could direct your officers to this page, that would be great. Encourage them to sign up. So Trish, what did I miss? Anything I missed on covering?
I think the only thing is May 10th, the annual reports are due. So we'll email you in probably mid-April. But basically it's a list, we're looking for your beginning financial balance, your end financial balance, publication requests for the next year. We asked about what chapter activities you've done, any updates to any social media accounts, so we can accurately follow them. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One, and we do read them. One, to figure out what's going on and see where there's opportunities to highlight some different programs or things that you're doing. But then also, Eileen puts together all of your financial information and files with the IRS for you. So if you don't want to deal with the IRS, which you don't, fill out the annual report, and I will stalk you until I get it. So that'll be coming sometime in April.
Yeah, because we're a nonprofit umbrella organization for chapters, we have to file the financial information for the each of our subunits, as it's called, and all we need is beginning and ending balances. That's all we need. I don't need to see all your transactions or anything like that, or what you spent it on. Opening balance on May 1st last year, ending balance on April 30th this year, or something like that, whatever dates you're told. Again, yeah, and if you don't submit that, the IRS will be looking for a return on your behalf. Was this helpful? Or again, so much on our website, I didn't want to go through every single page or read it to you, but if you could take a few minutes, I highly recommend just poking around and clicking on links, and you'll see lots of information, at least to know that it's there, and then go back to it when you need it. There's a search tool too for searching for stuff, but I think the bottom line that we talked about earlier is that we love helping advisors. It's our favorite thing. So don't ever think that a question is too silly or that we talked about it before and you should have known it. Don't ever think that. We don't mind 16 phone calls a day from you or 27 emails in one day. Ask away. It thrills us to know you care and are engaged, so we're happy to help. And if you need any task done because you can't get to it, we're happy to do that too, because you all have full-time jobs. This is our full-time job, but we know that you already have a full-time job doing other things. So we don't want Alpha Lambda Delta to be a burden on your time or in any other way. So let us know how we can help. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thanks for all you do. We'll see you around. We'll be in touch. Take care, everybody.